I used to think I understood what silence really meant. But the kind of silence you find deep inside the woods, far beyond cell service, beyond headlights, beyond anything that feels civilized, that's different. It's not peaceful. It's heavy. And last summer, I learned that sometimes silence means someone's listening. My name's Tyler. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and this happened last August. My two friends, Ben and Caleb, and I had planned a short road trip up into Washington near Mount Baker. We'd been talking for weeks about doing a no-signal weekend. No phones, no GPS, just maps, a tent, and whatever the woods gave us. We left early on a Friday morning. By the time we hit the mountain roads, the sky was turning gold, and everything smelled like pine and rain. We weren't really the outdoorsy type, more like city guys pretending to be wild for a few days, but it felt right. Around 6 p.m., after hours of winding through old forest roads, we found a clearing just off an unmarked trail. There was a fire ring made of stones and an old wooden bench that looked half-rotted. It felt untouched. Perfect. Ben joked, "Looks like a serial killer's picnic spot." Caleb laughed. I laughed too, but quietly. We set up camp, cooked some canned chili, and sat around the fire. The night was colder than we expected. The firelight flickered against the trees, and for a while, the forest felt almost alive, pulsing in the dark. Around 11, Ben turned in early. Caleb and I stayed up talking. He started telling this story about a missing hiker from a few years back, somewhere near here. Said people found his tent still zipped, his boots still by the fire, but he was gone. Typical campfire story. But halfway through, Caleb stopped mid-sentence. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. I listened. There was nothing. Then, a faint rustle, leaves shifting. "Probably a deer," I said, but the sound didn't move away. It stayed still, like something was crouched just past the firelight, watching. Caleb tossed a small log into the fire. Sparks shot up, lighting the tree line for a split second. And that's when I saw him. A man, standing between the trees. He wasn't close enough to see his face, but he was definitely there. No flashlight, no gear, just standing. "Hey!" Caleb yelled. But the figure didn't move. The flames crackled louder. I blinked, and he was gone. We grabbed our flashlights and scanned the woods. Nothing. Just empty trunks and drifting smoke. "You sure you saw that?" Ben mumbled from inside his tent. "Yeah," Caleb said. "There was a guy." Ben muttered something about sleep deprivation and zipped his tent shut again. I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt that presence, like someone standing just beyond the nylon of my tent. By morning, everything looked normal again. The forest was bright and harmless, and we joked about forest ghosts over breakfast. Still, something felt wrong. When I walked a few yards past camp to gather wood, I found footprints, bare ones, large, deep, fresh. They stopped a few feet from our tents. I didn't tell the others at first. I didn't want to freak anyone out. But later that day, we hiked up a trail about 2 miles north. It wasn't on any map. It looked barely used. Just faint tire marks and flattened grass. Caleb said we should check it out. Maybe it led to a lake. We followed it until we came across an old campsite. Tents collapsed, fire pit cold, a cooler tipped on its side. Everything covered in moss, like someone had been there and left in a hurry. Inside one of the tents was a ripped backpack. No ID, no clothes, just a Polaroid photo. 3 people standing around a campfire. 2 men, 1 woman, smiling. The woman's face was scratched out with something sharp. Caleb laughed nervously. "Creepy souvenir." I wanted to leave right then, but Ben said, "Let's stay one more night." We drove all this way. That night, we built the biggest fire yet, more out of fear than warmth. Around 10 p.m., the wind picked up and the forest started to whisper again. The kind of sound that makes you question what's natural and what isn't. Then we heard it. A faint humming. A voice. Coming from the direction of that abandoned campsite. It sounded like someone singing a slow tune, just one note, repeating. "Ben, you hear that?" Caleb asked. Ben nodded. "Yeah, maybe someone's camping out there." At midnight? Without a fire? I whispered. The humming grew louder, closer, then silence. We sat frozen. I picked up the flashlight, hands shaking, and aimed it toward the trees. The beam caught something white. Cloth. A shirt, maybe. Moving between the trunks. "Who's out there?" Ben yelled. No answer, just that smell, like wet earth and something metallic. Suddenly, a soft voice, deep and calm, came from the dark. "You shouldn't have stayed." My chest tightened. Caleb stood up slowly, eyes scanning the trees. "Who's there?" Nothing. Then, footsteps, circling. More than one pair. We weren't alone. The firelight flickered, and I swear I saw faces, half-lit, just beyond the orange glow. 3, maybe 4 people, all standing still, watching. I couldn't make out details, only that they were barefoot, and each of them held something in their hand. Long, thin branches, like walking sticks. "We're leaving," Ben said. His voice cracked. We grabbed our stuff as fast as we could, throwing it into the car. I looked back one last time. The figures didn't move. They just stood around our dying fire, as if waiting for it to burn out. We drove for what felt like hours, but every road looked the same. Trees, darkness, no signs. Eventually the headlights caught something. A shape in the middle of the road. A deer. Dead. But laid perfectly straight, as if someone had placed it there. Ben slowed down, swerving around it. And that's when Caleb whispered, "Look behind us." In the red glow of our taillights, I saw movement. 3 figures walking out of the forest, straight into the road, where we'd just driven past. They were barefoot, watching us leave. We didn't stop driving until sunrise. We reached a small gas station miles away, the kind that looks abandoned even when it's open. The clerk looked at us like we'd been dragged through mud. When we told him roughly where we'd camped, his face went pale. He said, "That area's closed off, has been for years. People go missing up there. Some old commune still squats around those woods. Locals call them the quiet ones." We didn't wait around for more explanation. We just filled up the tank and drove straight home. None of us ever talked about it again. Caleb deleted every photo from the trip. Ben stopped going outdoors completely. A few weeks later, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single Polaroid photo, 3 people standing around a campfire. This time, all 3 faces were scratched out. I moved apartments a month later. Different city, new job, new everything. I don't camp anymore, but sometimes when the power goes out at night, I swear I can smell that same wet earth again. And once, just once, I thought I heard humming through my window. Maybe silence isn't peaceful after all. If you ever find an unmarked trail and it feels too quiet, don't stay. Sometimes, what's watching you isn't an animal. It's something human that forgot how to be. You survived this story, but can you handle the next one? Subscribe now and turn on notifications, if you dare.